And welcome back to Power Lunch. Let us hit the latest on the big fight between Disney and DirecTV, because 11 million or so of you DirecTV subscribers have lost access to ESPN, ABC, and more, all since Sunday. This after the two could not reach a deal on pricing. And as the blackout enters its fourth day, Disney has claimed that DirecTV continues to, quote, misrepresent the facts around ongoing negotiations. So we heard from ESPN yesterday. Let's get the DirecTV side of the story directly with Rob Thun. He is the Chief Content Officer for DirecTV, working directly on the discussion with Disney. Julia Boorstin, of course, with us, and she will kick it off. Julia.
Thanks so much, Brian. And Rob, thanks so much for joining us amid these negotiations and this standoff. Now, just yesterday, ESPN Chair Jimmy Pitaro told me that Disney is offering you flexibility, including the option for a sports-specific skinnier bundle. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen this before with Disney's messaging, and it's a half-truth. They have offered us a skinny sports package to what Jimmy shared yesterday with a broadcast attachment. However, what they failed to mention is that they lace that and tie that those rights to minimum penetration requirements, which are basically contractual terms that force us to carry the rest of their portfolio to certain levels. And with those minimum penetration requirements, those limit the scope and the reach of the product that we're trying to put forth in the marketplace. Ironically, that was not what they gave themselves in venue, and that came through pretty clearly in Judge Garnett's ruling in the Thibault case.
Yes, I mean, it sounds like you're very much interested in getting the same rights that Disney offered for the streaming sports service Venue that was shut down and is now under appeal. But it sounds like Disney's willing to offer you those rights, though you're saying they're mandating a minimum penetration. Big picture here, though, taking a step back, you're dealing in a world where we're seeing cord cutting, and Disney's dealing in a world where they're seeing sports rights increase in terms of pricing. How do you see a compromise going forward? What kind of compromise could come out of this?
Well, look, I think where we agree is that there's a vast market in between what's available to customers today with a direct-to-consumer subscription package construct and the fat pay TV construct that we live with today. We think there's a big market for us to participate in, but we need the rights and the rights to not be encumbered by these minimum penetration requirements so that we can make this available to more customers than what Disney's prescribing today. So we think there is a great market between us. They just have to give us more flexibility in the rights they've given us, and they don't reflect what they were planning to give themselves, and that's what we're calling them out on.
Kelly here. I read, and I just was curious if you could confirm that people are getting a $20 rebate for this issue as it goes on.
As customers call in, we are giving them a $20 rebate. We're trying to give customers value back that they're losing with DirecTV currently being off with Walt Disney Company's content. We do want to try to solve this as fast as possible, but both sides are at loggerheads over this packaging dispute. And, counter to what they've said, they've said that we're fighting over the value and the rates. We're not fighting over the rates. We're agreed to on the rates. What we're not agreed to is the flexibility and the number of genre packages that we're trying to put into marketplace. That's really what's at hand here.
Well, Disney and ESPN, along with Dana Walden at Disney, have issued this statement today saying that they are being flexible. They have offered multiple packages beyond just the sports package. And I have to wonder, given that there's so many other alternatives out there, yes, you're offering your customers $20, but they can switch not just to another pay TV provider, a traditional pay TV provider, but also to a streaming service like Hulu with Live TV or a YouTube TV, where those prices may be lower. Are you concerned about having a meaningful loss of subscribers right now?
Look, yeah, we're not going into this thinking that we're not going to lose subscribers. I mean, I would say, based on your comment, that was a complete Pinocchio. They haven't offered us multiple packages. As of right now, they've put two on the table, and both are limited by these minimum penetration requirements that really render what they're giving us fairly toothless in the marketplace. They are practicing in behavior that they are cornering the market for themselves. They're not wanting us to participate, and we saw that kind of behavior front and center in the Thibault case. And if you don't believe that, they put a mandate in a deal at the 11th hour that I've never seen before that required us to first have a clean slate where there was no reach back and liability for any claims against the Walt Disney Company. 2, to change the venue of law from New York, which has been the venue for our contracts for decades, we believe. And then 3rd, a provision where we couldn't bring any claims against them legally. So, they clearly are concerned about that.
So Rob, you're saying they're cornering the market for themselves. Are you saying that because they want to be able to distribute, or they were hoping to distribute a skinnier sports bundle via Venue, and they have this ESPN package in the works? But the reality is that you can find Disney and ESPN and all these channels on every single pay TV distributor that there is. There's no doubt that these are incredibly widely distributed. So cornering the market for themselves is a little bit confusing to me. The question I have, though, is if you're looking for the flexibility around these bundles and the clock is ticking, given that you have Monday Night Football and ESPN on Monday night, how are you planning to get to a compromise here?
Yeah, what I'm talking about in the cornering the market, by the way, is in these skinnier bundles. We're going to afford only themselves really any runway on the sports and broadcast package. And they gave us a flavor of entertainment that is laced with these minimum penetration requirements, which ironically is not what they gave to Charter, which they told us firsthand. And they're not letting us participate in the kids and family package that we put on the table to them because they want to keep that for themselves. So that's kind of the behavior that I'm talking about. But of course, we're concerned about this. We want to bring this issue to a head. We just need the Walt Disney Company to let go of their singular, control over the marketplace in some of these packages. And we want to participate more broadly than being governed by these onerous minimum penetration requirements.
And we did, of course, see a new kind of deal that Disney struck with Charter about a year ago. We'll have to see if that becomes a model for them and for you going forward. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but thanks so much, Rob Thun, DirecTV Chief Content Officer, for joining us. And we look forward to seeing how this is all resolved.
Thank you. We hope we get it resolved soon.